Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films, and... Wait a minute. Do you hear that? Oh no! It's a tiny CGI creature! What are we going to do? It looks hungry, doesn't it? Oh. Here, have this nondescript chocolate bar. Okay, good. That satiated its hunger. And you can get any nondescript chocolate bar you want at Intergalactic Knee Golf of Galactamon 7. Anyway, last time on Doctor Who, because we're on Doctor Who, by the way, I didn't mention that, but back again with Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who, we had, what was it, the Suranga Conundrum, where the Doctor and the gang ended up on a hospital after being hit by a sonic mine, and then there was a little tiny CG monster that was eating things, and then they beat it, they satiated its hunger, and got rid of it, and yeah. It was a nice, fun, dumb little episode, and yeah. This is where I say no spoilers, and honestly, we should just go ahead and get into episode 6. I can't believe we're already halfway through the season. Like, that's pretty crazy, so yeah. That's basically all I got. Let's just go ahead and get right into this episode of Doctor Who. Here we go. Ah! A new writer! That's not Chibnall.
And get it fixed if you like.
It must never be fixed.
Why not?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Nunny, please.
You won't understand. I have such stories I could tell you.
And we want to hear them, really.
I know what you're asking, but family history and time travel? Very tricky. Just for an hour.
Oh.
See it from a distance. Have you got a time or place? I know she lived in Lahore in the 50s. But other than that, I mean, I could, but
No.
I shouldn't.
Didn't work out last time she did that.
Too unpredictable.
Yeah,
What?
Father's
It's
Day.
a risk.
Oh, like none of our other trips have ever been risky.
I have apologised for the Death Eye Turtle Army.
But what?
Profusely.
Why can't we
I
see
could
that?
loop this into the... Whoa! Nice!
I thought Lahore was a city. This ain't a city.
Maybe it wasn't back then. I don't know. Maybe it's a city that knows how to keep some decent nature.
Over the shop. Looks pretty northern Punjab.
Whoa!
You alright? Think so. Probably.
She's getting disoriented a lot.
I'm late. Maureen's gonna kill me.
Oh. Is that her husband then? No, no. Man, the coincidences are crazy. Like, they came back here purposely, and there is aliens.
You're Umbrine. You look amazing.
Careful.
What are you doing? When's the big day again? Tomorrow. Amazing. I can't wait to meet the groom.
You already
You
did.
already have.
Remember me? Car, flowers,
Yeah.
carrying Umbrine.
No. You can't be. You're not my wedding in the Punjab. Bring it on.
Nah.
I love a wedding.
Yaz, you are not smooth about this.
She had a secret Hindu first husband.
Doc.
Maybe.
I reckon hour's nearly up, mate.
You
Yeah.
can't go. I came here for answers. All I've got is more questions. I knew this would happen.
Can anyone help me with this?
I'll help. I'm Yaz.
Great. Thanks, Yaz.
Aw.
Big moment. You won't forget this in a hurry.
You right there? Shouldn't have come.
Should not have done this.
This is what happens when you try to be nice.
Yeah.
Who wants to know what to listen to me?
Did you learn nothing from Rose?
Yep. What year is it exactly?
Same year you have in England. 1947.
Partition.
They're a little bit off.
Partition of India.
Uh-oh.
The maps were leaked weeks ago. I got one from my sources.
Your sources must be wrong because you've just put my house in Pakistan.
With the other Muslims. What? You get a fresh start.
Manish, you need to slow down.
Huh.
Pakistan is...
The land belongs to everyone. Has done for centuries. One day doesn't change that.
I love you, brother. But you're wrong.
Uh-oh.
Look! Demons!
What, demons? Whoa, okay.
I told you this would happen. I told you these days were cursed.
So, we're not going back to the TARDIS then.
It's gone.
Whoop!
Find the signal. It didn't go far.
The percussionist is going nuts. Whoop! Oh, that guy's not affected.
I don't think they're demons.
Yeah.
Why should I trust
They're not demons. They're aliens.
You can interfere yourself out of existence. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You know there are aliens here, right? In the Punjab during partition, and you're worried about me being gobby. Tread softly. You're treading on your own history.
Yeah. You still gotta be careful.
Seems like a transmat doorway.
Whoop! Okay then.
Nice.
This is a Thajarian hive.
What,
Good
Gesundheit?
thing or a bad thing?
Thajarians are assassins.
Right. So
Okay.
that's basically a bad thing then.
That's pretty bad.
Well, they've never come across them. They're one of the ancient species, evolved themselves into the deadliest assassins in the known universe.
The ancient species. What are they, like pre-Time Lord?
Standing over my older brother's dead body.
Okay, so they killed your older brother and the holy man.
I lost them in the haze as the evacuation sounded.
I don't know what to do. Bhakti had agreed to marry us. Not many would agree to a Hindu marrying a Muslim right now.
Then you can't go ahead with marrying Prem.
You think I give up that easily? I've seen war take our young, and drought take our old and weak. Now men without a clue are imposing a border like a crack through my country. Prem is the one certain thing in my life.
Oh. Maybe this is how history plays out. If she finds someone else, she finds someone else, but don't force it.
Whoa!
Ow.
It's overloaded my Sonic. Too many inputs. It's never happened before. Think.
Too many
How's
inputs?
it go, analog?
Oh, great.
I need oil, water, tree bark, a saucepan, 9 containers, an old newspaper, a touch of ox spit, a chicken poo, and a biscuit.
Bagsy, not chicken poo.
Why a biscuit?
I love biscuits.
Yeah. Need a snack.
I am never, ever getting spit from an ox ever again, no matter how much you need it.
Oh.
The ox took a bit of a shine to him.
Oh, this is some classic stuff right here.
So what is it then? Science.
I love it whenever she Doc Browns something crazy.
Take a couple of hours. This is the best thing ever. Never did this when I was a man.
Tuh.
Doctor.
Yeah.
You and your jokes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Your references to body and gender regeneration are all in jest. Such a comedian.
Oh. Yeah, this is brand new for her.
Work. You don't even have a priest. What sort of respectable wedding will it be?
I don't care about traditions. I don't care about respectable... Wait, you're a doctor, right? That's respectable.
Technically.
You could marry us.
Don't be ridiculous.
I was wondering about that.
Doctor, I haven't officiated a wedding since Einstein's. His parents didn't approve either. Not
Einstein's.
though.
You think he's lucky?
Yeah.
I think he's lost his mind.
Hey, mate, not on his stag night. You have to forgive him. Spends too much time reading pamphlets, listening to angry men on the radio.
Nah.
We honor the lost as we cannot honor our own.
No, still not with you.
As the assassins hunted, the Thajarian world was destroyed.
Oh.
This is all that remains of our home, our people.
Okay.
Every ancestor. They died unwitnessed, unsaved. We were too late to grieve or honor them.
So you're
We
honoring...
return, and now we travel beyond, seeking the unacknowledged dead across all of time and space. This is now the Thajarian mission.
That's what Prem saw you do to Kunal. What you were doing to the holy man.
So he
But
just
why here?
died.
Why now?
Millions will perish, unseen, unknown in the days to come here.
Huh.
Casualties of partition.
His time is soon.
Oh no.
If you didn't kill the Holy Man, if you were only honoring his death, how did he die?
Heart attack?
We can show you.
Wow, okay, this is really, really interesting. It's not an evil plan. She doesn't know what to do when if it's not an evil plan.
We can't let that happen. It has to. For Umbreen to become your nanny, for you to exist, Prem has to die.
This is how time unfolds.
We've lived together for decades. Hindu, Muslim, and Sikh. And now we're being told our differences are more important than what unites us.
Meh.
Like we learned nothing in the war.
All we can strive to be is good men.
Oh. Ain't that the truth?
Love, in all its forms, is the most powerful weapon we have. Because love is a form of hope, and like hope, love abides in the face of everything. You both found love with each other. You believed in it, you fought for it, and you waited for it. And now, you're committing to it. Which makes you, right now, the two strongest people on this planet.
Oh.
Maybe in this universe. I'm not sure how we formalize this.
I am. Will you?
That's the
Oh.
Hindu thing, isn't it? Tying their hands together.
Now it can be our thing, if we want it to be.
Hey, there he is.
I didn't work this land for you, Umbreen. I worked it for my brothers. One who didn't come back, and the other I wish hadn't. Don't you understand what's coming? None of this will make a difference.
Come on, man. Ish. Dang it. We were having a good moment.
Only right, I'd do a Muslim thing too. This is your maher. Yours to keep forever.
Oh. Oh.
It's fine.
That's why she won't fix
Perfect.
it.
Is that what you used to shoot the Holy Man? Your brother's rifle? What have you done? Who's coming?
Oh, no.
Future.
Oh, no.
Across the field, over the border, into the forests, keep going north.
Oh.
These are demons I have to face alone.
Oh.
There's nothing holy about a man who would approve your union. Better he die than defile himself.
My baby brother. What happened to you?
Oh.
We are your people, Prem. India's your country. You and Kunal fought for this.
This is not what I fought for.
We will watch over him now.
Yeah.
She made it out, right? She got to Lahore.
I would assume
She
so.
lived. She made it.
Never realized the columns also move too.
I can't even begin to imagine what you've dealt with.
Hmm.
Then you end up in Sheffield, of all places.
I love Sheffield.
Really?
Aw.
Well, not quite as exotic as I thought it would be.
Nah.
But you want to know about the watch? Really?
No. Tell me another time. I love you, Nanny.
And I love you too, Betty.
Oh. Is that a different... That was still the main theme, wasn't it? Alrighty. Episode 6. Man. These historicals that they've got going this season, they're rough, but boy, are they tugging at my heartstrings, man. Oh my gosh. They're also definitely another one of those not gonna do a bit at the beginning of next episode kind of episodes. Alright. Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, just, wow. These historicals are definitely some top tier episodes, I must say. And definitely, like, is this, okay, question, is this one better than Rosa? That's a question. I think I would say objectively yes, if only because the only real drag on Rosa is the villain being not really good. This episode, the villains, that was a lot better, you know, because it is something, you know, it does keep things away, even though everyone in here, or at least Prem, they knew more about the Thijarians than Rosa knew about that one guy. Still, they, you know, obviously they kept their distance because that's the point. They witness, they don't, they aren't actually interfering. They're not assassins, you know? So, I actually like that a bit more. And, you know, because we were saying at the beginning of the episode when they showed up, it's like, you know, we came here on a whim, pretty much. You know, it's like, we specifically went somewhere. It's not like, oh, they were traveling and the TARDIS brought them to meet Yaz's Nan. Like, no, it's not... It wasn't that. They specifically came here, but there were already aliens here, you know? Because it's also not like Father's Day, where it's like, okay, the reason that the Reapers are here is because Rose saved her father, you know? So, but that's the thing, is that, oh, well, why are these aliens here when we happen to be here? It's because they are there when there is an unwitnessed death, basically. They are there to mourn those who are left alone, which is kind of nice, actually. Like, that's a really interesting idea, you know, especially because of their backstory of being former assassins. It kind of reminds me... It kind of reminds me a bit of the Sarah Jane adventures with The Death of the Doctor, where those creatures, what were they called? The Shan-Sheath? Was that it? I think so. The Shan-Sheath, wasn't it that normally they are like the big... They're basically the intergalactic funeral directors, but they did sort of have... maybe not necessarily an evil plan, but their plan was to steal the TARDIS and use it in order to, like, reverse deaths, I believe. Like, go back in time and change a lot of stuff, basically, so that people would live in peace, but it would alter the timeline. So that's why Sarah and Joe and the Doctor had to end up stopping them. So it does kind of remind me of that a bit. Which, didn't we say, like, a couple episodes ago, like, oh, this reminds me of the Sarah Jane adventures. So, I mean, clearly, well, maybe not clearly, but it kind of feels like someone in the writing room is paying attention to the Sarah Jane adventures and getting inspired by that a little bit. A little bit, because this is obviously... You could also say this is partly inspired by Father's Day. You know, just the initial premise of going back and... meeting, like, you know, for Rose it was her father, or here for Yaz, her grandmother. So, yeah. Man, oh man, that's... And again, just another sort of tense situation they end up finding themselves in, you know? And it's interesting that it's like, okay, our two historicals that we've had so far have kind of taken us around the same time. This was 1947. Last time was 1955. Well, I kind of hope we get a bit more further back than the 1900s, Again, these two episodes were good, but I'd like to go a little bit further back with this crew, What was the last time we really went far back? I'd really have to think about that. We went a bit further back in Thin Ice. It would have been, what was that episode called? The Eaters of Light, that was it. Where they went back to find the 9th Roman Legion. That was the last time we really sort of went more ancient than where we have in this season. But still, again, these episodes are great. And maybe that's just because, I want that mainly because I want them to have a nice historical. This is great and Rosa is great. But I'd also like them to just have a nice, they go back and... Although, I don't know, it's not always the greatest place, You go back to Nero or the Trojan War. It's some of that can be a little rough just because of that, Yeah. All right. I guess I'm thinking of go back to Shakespeare, that was nice, Just a nice little time. You go back, you meet Shakespeare, you stop some witches, you're good. So, anyway. Let's go ahead and hop into the notes on this one. The first thing I wrote down is Yaz and her gran. That I am starting to... You probably caught it when I said, Yaz and her nan. It's after 3 years, these Britishisms are starting to infect me. So, I'm finally getting that. Last season, I said chips unironically when referring to fries. So, but yeah, that was interesting. Just the whole thing, with... a good setup. Now, I was saying a couple episodes ago, oh man, I kind of want them to, keep up the home life, because I thought that was a really good thing that they did, starting with Clara and going on into Bill, is that the companions kept a home life, which was basically what needed to happen after the buildup of Rose and Martha and Donna, and then culminating in Amy and Rory having kind of an entire character arc of not being able to leave the Doctor. So I'm glad that we are keeping, the companions do go home for a while, So that was definitely... So that was good, seeing a bit more of Yaz's family. So yeah, that was interesting. Let's see... okay, so they went back to the partition. Now, I will be honest, I'm not too terribly brushed up on that history, which I feel like I say that a lot, honestly. I'm not too brushed up on that history. I'm not... As a guy who has a bachelor's degree in history, I suck at remembering history, honestly. Unless it's, really ancient. Ancient was always my favorite stuff. So, stuff like 1947, I don't really know too much about. So, of course, if Dad was here, he'd be spouting off all sorts of facts for you. So, this is definitely another contender for episode to introduce the 13th Doctor, So, let's see. So, yeah, we had the partition, which it was, they do at least explain it well enough, for anyone who doesn't know, okay, this is where they split up, they create the defined border between India and Pakistan, and that causes tension between the Muslims and the Hindu. So yeah, they do explain it very quickly, very easily, and then you definitely know right away. It's okay, these people, they were one people, but tensions have given way, and now with this defined border that's happened, now the tension is basically at a boiling point, which is basically what happens, results in Prem's death. So we had the demons, which I like. This episode is called, was it Demons in the Punjab? Please tell me I said that right. I think so. I think that's about how they say it, because they said it once or twice in here, so I'm going to say that's how you say it, and if not, It's close enough. Anyway, so at first I was thinking like, oh, okay, you know, it's like, oh, the locals here, they think they're demons, but they're actually aliens. But I like how that actually ties in at the end when Prem says, these are demons I need to face alone. Like, okay, it's not just, oh, the demons, but they're actually aliens. It's like, okay, yeah, it's his own personal demons. Like, everyone's kind of personal demons that they have to face, you know? But the original demons that we have in this episode are the Thajarians. Very interesting concept for them that the Doctor says that, and again, because, you know, obviously these are brand new, they have not been in Doctor Who before, but I like how, you know, the Doctor says like, oh, I've heard about them, but I've never really encountered one. And the whole thing is that she thinks they're assassins, which they were assassins. And she said something about, like, they are from the ancient species. Like, what is the ancient species? Like, one of the original species in the universe? Like, that's pretty ancient, you know? That's pretty ancient. But yeah, so they were the greatest assassins in the universe. But apparently they were doing all their assassin stuff, and while they were doing that, their homeworld was destroyed. And basically all that's left is in this little vial of all these, you know, Thanos ashes, basically. And that's all that's left of the Thajarian people. And so now they realize, oh, you know, our people, they died without any witnesses, without anyone there to mourn them. You know, we weren't there. So now we don't want that to happen to anyone else. So we're going to go through, and anyone who dies and they are, you know, not witnessed, there's no one there for them, we will be there for them. Which is very interesting. So, you know, now it's interesting because, you know, what exactly constitutes them not being there? And I assume this means that this is, you know, well, I guess this sort of begs the question, has this always happened, or is this a new thing? They're certainly never there when the Doctor regenerates alone, but maybe they don't count that. But yeah, it's like, okay, so, because they were there for, I don't remember the older brother's name, but they were there for the older brother, and, yeah, they were there because he died without witness. But then Prem came in and witnessed it. You know, he saw it, but I guess, you know, they got out of there once the evacuation alarm sounded. He went over, he got the thing, he couldn't take the body back, and so he just left. I guess, but that's the thing, is that, okay, if this is like they're going through time and doing this, is it that in the original timeline, you know, he dies without witness, so Prem never finds him, never takes the necklace, and so he just never finds the body. Therefore, they come in, they witness him, but in doing so, that actually allows Prem to find his older brother. Maybe. Or is it that they're always there? Like, is this technically a change in the timeline with them being there? That's kind of what I would question. It doesn't really matter either way per se, but yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. It's just sort of an interesting idea, you know. So yeah, we had the whole thing with interfering, because yeah, that is kind of strange, isn't it? When Yasmin goes back and her grandmother is going to marry someone who isn't her grandfather, and you know, now it's interesting. You could almost say it's sort of a, well, I don't know, but it's kind of interesting that it's like, okay, Yaz then starts to like maybe put it on a little bit, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't marry him, but that's just not how this happens. Like, you have to think, okay, this is probably how it worked out, you know? This is how it worked out originally, so I shouldn't, you know, don't interfere. History will play out the way history needs to play out. And something will happen. She won't be married to Prem anymore, and she will go and marry your grandfather, you know? That's the thing. So, yeah, I don't know. But that was interesting, just sort of the kind of interfering and the kind of not interfering, you know? And of course, you know, obviously just this whole thing of like, oh, well, I shouldn't take you back to, you know, meet your grandmother. Like, that's risky. I shouldn't do it. And luckily it didn't completely change things like with Rose. But I bet that's exactly what the doctor was thinking. Like, this didn't go well last time. Maybe okay. I'll give you 1 hour, but that's it, and no interfering. But it didn't fully work. They were there. They are now a part of that history, but luckily they didn't interfere too much. At least not like Rose did. So yeah, let's see. I did like, you know, as soon as they revealed, it's like, oh, he was going to, you know, bless our union. He was going to marry us. And it's like, oh, I bet the doctor will now then. It's like, well, but is the doctor, you know, ordained? That would be kind of weird if the doctor was ordained, you know? But then it's like, oh, well, you know, you basically just need someone. Is this right? Like, what they said is like, you need someone respectable. And a respectable person is a doctor. So the doctor counted. So that was interesting. And I did like, you know, just that sort of, you know, the four of them there and the doctor being like, oh, I never got to do any of this while I was a man. And yeah, obviously them not understanding that, and Yaz being like, come on, you're just joking, right? So, but yeah, it's a brand new experience for her. So that's really funny. Anyway, and then on the other side of that, with just showing more of the divide between Prem and Manish. So, see, and I was really thinking, like, I don't know why. I guess, you know, because I guess we kind of knew that that's how it happened. I guess because, you know, I didn't put it together that it was Manish that killed the priest, the holy man. So, like, I legitimately thought when, you know, she was like, will you let me feed you? I thought it was going to work out, but it didn't. And he was the one that led them there and got Prem killed. Like, oh, man. So, yeah, and I do like, so, okay, you know, the reason that Umbreen doesn't talk about Prem is because, yeah, she lost her husband the day she was married. And so she just doesn't talk about it. And that makes sense. And I do really like the watch. It's like, oh, they dropped it, but she keeps it exactly the same. You know, because she will fight for that love despite Manish, despite her mother saying, you know, he's cursed. Like, she will fight for that, which is nice. And I did love the doctor's wedding speech, basically. You know, like, basically that's the faith that the doctor believes in, is love. You know, like, that's really nice. So, let's see what else. And then, yeah, just seeing that divide. I will say it was interesting, you know, when it's like, oh, Manish is too busy reading pamphlets, listening to angry men on the radio. Like, yes. Interesting how that works, you know? You listen to angry people on, you know, this very popular platform where people can express their opinions. Like, yeah, that's, that ain't going away anytime soon. And yeah, just to think, like, you know, that's exactly how, you know, this sort of developed. You know, as Prem was away at war, Manish was sitting there, he was reading pamphlets and listening to angry men on the radio, and that is what changed him. Like, oh. So yeah, and then just that divide keeps growing. And honestly, I did think I did think that maybe he would change, but no. Not only did he not change, it was him that resulted in the death of his brother. Oh, that's so sad, you know? And just, you know, just like that last scene is so emotional. And just immediately, you know, Prem, you see the tear go down. It's like, oh, man, I'm about to tear up, you know, just from watching this guy. We've known this guy for one episode, and I'm already like, oh, geez. But yeah, you know, it's like, oh, you know, we are your people. You and our brother, you fought for this. It's like, I didn't fight for this. I fought for everyone, you know? And it's, it's just so sad. And he ends up dying. And yeah, the Thijarians did stay and witness it as the rest of them left. And see, I was wondering if they would do, like, you know, they get back to Sheffield, and maybe her grandmother, even if she doesn't come out and say it, maybe it's implied that Umbreen does remember Yaz being there, Yaz and the doctor and everyone, but they didn't really, like, hint at that at all. They sort of took the Back to the Future approach of, the kid, name him Marty, you know? Marty's a good name. And if he ever burns the rug, don't punish him too hard, you know? So, and that was just a good touching moment at the end there. So, oh, what a good episode, man. These historicals are really knocking it out of the park. Now, I know last episode I said, oh, this is the second best episode we've had. And yeah, at the time it was, I still hold that was the second best that we had so far. But let me put it to you this way. We had Rosa, and then a comfortable margin before we got to the Surunga Conundrum, and then the rest. Definitely will put this episode... This episode is either on level or just slightly above Rosa. And I think that's mainly because of the villains, technically. Because Rosa, the villain, he was pretty weak, but the rest of it was just so great. This episode, there isn't really a villain per se, and that actually helps it, because the Thijarians, like, oh, you know, like the doctor said in Twice Upon a Time, it's not an evil plan. I don't know what to do if it's not an evil plan, you know? It's like, no, they are just, it was just sort of a misunderstanding between them and the doctor, you know? And I really like that. And just the idea of it, it's like, yeah, they were these ancient assassins that now they witness deaths, basically, for those that are not witnessed, you know? Like, is definitely just a really great idea. So I think, objectively, I would put this one, you know, just like barely above Rosa, but it'd be this, Rosa, and then a comfortable margin, and then you kind of get the rest of them. So, and again, the other episodes have been, you know, really, really good, but these two historicals have been some top tier stuff, I have to say. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where we're going next time, definitely. Bring on more historicals, because this seems to be the 13th Doctor's strength, is these historicals, I gotta say. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. We'll have to see next time. So with all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Doctor Who reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.